Hello, everybody. Nice to see your smiling faces. Look at you all. So yeah, today I'm bringing you a presentation which is an introduction into spiraling, a journey of discovery. I say introduction because when I started planning this, it was going to be about regulating your nervous system, because out of my own, I draw spirals all the time in all my notebooks. And then when I started looking into it, I just thought, God, this is massive. This isn't just about regulating your nervous system. And it brought me to the point which I love, which is my relationship to art in myself, which is, it's about curiosity, it's about play, it's about needing it. Because I use it as a way of grounding myself. So it is a journey into exploring more about yourself, with the added thing that spirals are spirals are everywhere. Now, how many of you have a relationship to spirals or draw spirals? Yeah, just about everybody. They're everywhere. From the micro to the macro, spirals are everywhere. So what I want to present today is I'm going to explain a little bit about my story of my own journey with this. Then we will I will show you some slides. I won't inundate you with slides. It's more like a mood board this time, just to create an atmosphere to get into the drawing part of it. And then we'll do some breath work in my own imagination, it's to help us embody more the experience of the drawing. If we use, at least with myself, the breath work helps. Then we'll do a few minutes of the drawing. I will come back, then I'll put you into breakout rooms, and then we'll see what happens. Does that sound good? Great. So when I was thinking of a story, the one that came to mind actually was when I lived as a painter for many years. I don't know if anybody knew this. And I was living in Pamplona at the time, and I had a really bad car accident, and I smashed up my right arm. So the next day after this accident, I had plastered, I was on morphine. I woke up in tears, panicking because I couldn't put a pencil in my hand because I had a plaster up to here. So I rang my best friend crying, and she said, well, just draw with your other hand. So I started drawing just spirals to start with. And I could feel my whole nervous system go, oh, thank you. And it reminded me of how important the process of the drawing and the painting is, not the end result, which led me to think about how in life it's the process and the road, the path of life that you're on, not the end of it. So that's my aha moment to my story of why I'm here today. So what I wanted to do is to bring up a whiteboard and ask you for words or ideas about spirals. So if people would like to unmute themselves and give me words about spirals that refer to spirals.
The universe.
Let's see if I can get this up now. So make it smaller. That's massive. Universe. That's big and small. Universe. What else?
Endless.
Sorry?
Endless. ENDLESS.
Endless. Thank you, Doreen.
Nature.
Nature.
Vortex.
Vortex. Yeah, that's a good one.
Flushing the toilet.
Love it, love it, love it. Oops.
Spiral dancing through life.
Spiral dancing through life. Anything else?
Creation.
No?
Creation.
Creation, good one. Thank you, Jonathan.
I'm looking for the word. It's like it's ecstasy or like some kind of a modified consciousness state.
We can put both X, if I can spell it, ecstasy, to see. Is that how, no, is that how you spell it? No.
EC.
Yeah, of course.
No, EC. Yeah.
The C, is that right? Something like that. Modified state of consciousness. Without a second.
Water? I don't know why.
Water, yeah. I was actually in the shower the other day with water on my head, and I was looking down and looking at the spirals that were gathering in pools.
I think it was an ancient symbol for the water hole too. You know, a lot of ancient like cave paintings and different things like that, they have the spiral. So
Yeah,
maybe ancestry.
ancestry, yeah, I like that.
Movement.
Movement, yes, thank you, Christy.
Twist. Because I think
Sorry?
that's right. Twist.
What did you
Because
say? Twist, yes, twist, yes, absolutely.
Circular.
Involution, evolution.
Evolution. Evolution. I'm a one-finger typer. I can't spell either. Yeah, so that's quite a lot. I just like you to contemplate those. We've got universe, endless, nature, vortex, flushing the toilet, spiral dancing through life, creation, ecstasy, modified state of consciousness, water, ancestry, movement, twist, circular, involution, evolution. Already that's massive, isn't it? So I'm just going to take it down. And to get a first small experience of drawing a spiral, I thought we'd just draw one in the air, which actually feels really nice. I don't know if you've ever done it. So if you start from the outside in, so we start from the outside, if you'd like to do this with me, and just very slowly draw your spiral. Try and kind of tune out a little as you're doing it. Feel how that feels in your body. Think about all the words that we came up with the spiral. And when you get to the center, just tell us stop there. Imagine you've got your finger on the center. Take a breath. Yeah. How does that feel? Does that feel good? Great. Okay, I'm going to bring up some slides and I'm going to talk a little bit about spirals. As I said, not too lengthily. So, yeah. I found this quote I love. The human mind makes progress, but it is progress in spirals, which I think is so true. Life is not linear, it is a spiral that you revisit things over and over again, the same things, but on a different level, if you like, from a different perspective. The universe moves in spiral, expanding continuously towards the infinite. It's been proved through the Fibonacci series, that sequence, that it's just, it goes out and out and out and out in a mathematical form, and it never stops, does it? It goes on. And it's so beautiful when you look, nature teaches us so much. And we also have this in our own body. the beauty of nature. All these are just to give us an idea of kind of feeling for nature. I didn't want to go too deeply into things at this stage. When I was exploring spirals in ancient temples, in Google, they all talk about this place in Ireland, which is, I think, 3,500 BC. In Malta, we have one that's even older, in the Tarshem temple, so this is from there. I found music in spirals there's actually spiral music, which I didn't know before. The whirling dervishes, who it's their way of getting closer to God. It's their journey to their Sufi path is by whirling around in spirals and circles. We have it in our DNA strands. And just to touch on more esoteric ideas, we have the yin and yang, we have in the Dantian or the Hara. And then we have on the right, the gut-brain connection, which I rather like this image, that it goes in a spiral. Here are some of my experiments with spiraling, drawing, sewing. And I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember this, but this is very much part of my growing up. The twilight zone, beyond sight and sound, but of mind. So who wants to come and join the journey? Yeah? Yay! So now I'm going to do a little breathing exercise. I'm going to stand up. You don't have to. It's just so that you can see what's going on. And I'm going to put a gong sound, which I hope you'll be able to hear, because I'm playing it from externally. And the idea is that you bring your hands up on an in-breath and your hands down on an out-breath. You don't have to do this physically if your arms ache or you just don't feel like doing it. You breathe in through your nose for 4 and out through your mouth for 4. You can close your eyes or not, and just follow the sound of the gongs. And I'm going to do this for about 2 minutes. Okay, so just to regulate our nervous system. So I'm going to stand up. And I'm just going to in, out. Just concentrate on the goals. And 4. In. And out. In. And out. In. And out. 30 seconds more. Last couple of breaths. Okay. I don't know about you, but I feel better already. Great. So now we're going to make ourselves comfortable. Find a position that's good for you and take whatever paper and pencil you have. And I'm going to give you 3 minutes to draw spirals. You can draw one spiral, you can draw many spirals. You can start anywhere on the page. And I would recommend that the first spiral, if you're drawing more than one, you do slowly to have a fully embodied experience, remembering your breath. And then just play with it, see how it goes. So enjoy. Maybe notice if you're going fast or slow, what your breath is doing, what your body's doing as you're drawing it. You start to feel as if you're in a trance. Just play with it. Think about how the fire energy moves through your bodies in spirals. Feel the spirals in your body. Notice if you start your spirals from the outside in or the inside out. If you're drawing in a clockwise or an anti-clockwise direction. Play around with this, see how it feels. So you've got 15 seconds more. So if you want to come back, how was that for you? So now I'm going to ask you to do the same thing with your non-dominant hand and see how that feels. You're accessing a different part of your brain. It's a whole different, in my experience, it's a whole different experience. So I'm going to give you another 3 minutes. Play around with it. Explore the sensations in your body as you're doing it. Maybe turn the paper the other way around. See what it looks like from there, from a different angle. Trying out the different ways of drawing a spiral. Becoming part of the drawing experience. Going from the evolution to the involution and back again. Another 30 seconds. start thinking about coming back. Yeah. How was that for everybody? Good? Yeah. Interesting? Great. Well, I'm going to send you into breakout rooms, or Shelley is going to send you into breakout rooms for me, so that you can have an opportunity to share what your feelings and your sensations around this. You're going to have about 15 minutes, which will give you ample time to share. I'm just going to make Shelley the host, which if I remember how to do this, make host. There we are. That was easy. Okay. Take it away, Shelley. So I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's 4 breakout rooms, I think.
Okay, so there'll be 2 and 3 and 3 and 1.
Okay. Enjoy. And I'll see you back on here on the other side.
Oh, actually,
You tried to put me in a breakout room, Shelley.
so let me move to okay. Move to 3. Okay. So I just put Laura with Jonathan. She just got swept out there. Okay, so they have 15 minutes. So we got it. You got to keep track of time. And since it's 15 minutes, I would say, like, because this is a recording, I would like pause the recording right now. Just pause it. Well,
Yes, thank you. I can handle. You're going to have to give me back the.
Okay, you want me to just do it? Because I got to bring them
You
back.
do it.
Yeah.
You do it. Yes, please.
That was so much fun. And we had great conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take away your host things. You did.
Then let me. Should I close out the breakout rooms first? Because
Yeah, that's good.
you want me to close them and then I'll give you back the host?
I think so. Yes. So was that fun?
Yeah, a ton of fun.
The whole
Amazing.
exercise is fun, by the way.
Amazing what you can do with spirals, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, that's like my doodle to go to.
Yeah, for a lot of us, it is, I think. So let me see. Is everyone back? Is everyone back, Shelley? I think so.
Yeah, it wouldn't let me give you the host controls until everybody came back. So
Okay, so now I'm the host. So, was that fun? Yeah. So I have 1 or 2 little questions that I'd quite like if you could put something in the chat box. So, do you notice how your energy shifts when you're drawing spirals? Yes or no? Stacey says yes. Subtle but noticeable, especially with the left hand. Yeah, right. Got into a trance. So cool. Feels immersive, Jonathan. That's really cool. And do you think it's made you look at spirals in a different way? Definitely, says Christy. Yes, I love them all now. So cool. And do you think you will use this in the future? Already a super fan and user of spirals, but love the awareness around it. Thank you. And Janet says she felt it more in her body. Cool. So would anyone like to share about what they learned from this journey? Anyone? Christy, do you want to unmute yourself?
It was really interesting, this time, because I had done a little bit of this on my own, and then we had done a practice run of this, but this was different. And I loved it because I generally tend to do it on my own, where I go from the center out. And I purposely did it as you had recommended to do, from the out in. And I went much slower this time. And like I wrote it in the chat, I said, it felt like I was traveling. Like I was on a trip and I was in a little car and I was going someplace. And it was really great because the feeling was very positive and hopeful, and that the excitement that you get when you're going on a trip. And then it was really interesting because I felt as time went on, it would evolve into maybe a little faster, a little something. But when we switched it to the other hand, what was so interesting was that, just like you, I've had that instance where I've been injured and then I had to use the other hand, and you're awkward. And I'm thinking, this is a great thing if you do have that, to do this first, because it really, you're not, there's no expectation, you're just following, and the hand can do that pretty easily. Yet it does awake this other side of you and a confidence, I think. It's interesting. And I felt, hey, I got this, I got this, I got this. And I'm going, look at me, wow. So it was really, I enjoyed it very much.
That's awesome, Christy, thank you. It is interesting when you try the different hands, isn't it?
For sure.
Would anyone else like to share? Janet?
When we did, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I felt like with the left hand, with the non-dominant hand, it was more authentic in a way, because when I'm using my right hand, there's a lot more mental editing and judgment. And even when you're trying to be free, you just naturally have this thing. And I didn't have that at all with the non-dominant hand. And both Stacy and my drawings, when you looked at them side by side, the non-dominant hand drawings feel more alive and more open, and they take the space of the page in a much freer way. So it was totally fun.
Cool, thank you, Janet. That is amazing. Anyone else? Law?
Well, to piggyback off that, I did both drawing for the most part, just following my hand. Like I didn't really intend anything. I just followed my hand. And I thought it was really interesting, the difference between the two, which makes complete sense to me. But this is my right hand.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my left hand. And it's like way less busy. And I felt that was it feels very appropriate to me, like in regards to like how my energy is distributed and how it expresses itself. So I thought that was a really good mirror. But also like just doing the spiral, I kind of wanted to, because I love to dance spiral, like I love to do spirals with my body, like I love to spin. So now I'm like, I want to spin. I just want to this was nice, but now I want to like go and spin.
That's going to be the next.
Yeah, exactly.
Embodying it. That's so cool, Laura. I love it. Thank you. Anybody else? Stacey?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Continuing with what Laura was saying, in the water, well, it reminded me of when you throw a pebble in the water and you see the ripples, right? And that expansion. And then it started, I was just thinking of water, and I really love spinning in the water. Like when I was a kid as a swimmer, I would wrap my hands like this and then spin underwater like super fast. And there's something just like complete unwinding in that. And I feel like this is like an unwinding process for your brain and your body to like let loose or clear something. And it felt like when I started from the center going out, it was obviously an expansion and an opening. And when I started the other way and came to the center, it was more of a focus and coming in and going inward and like paying like even more attention. And definitely my non-dominant hand was freer. But I was also going much faster too, and it almost just seemed automatic, and it was. But then I mean, it almost, because I was not coordinated, it also could feel like it was going too fast, like spinning a little out of control. But in a fun way, you know. I was trying not to like completely run off the table, you know, or page. But yeah, and they definitely have a breath to it when they're, I'll just show you, this was my non-dominant.
Oh, lovely.
And
I love it how they're juxtaposed one on the other.
Yeah, and it just started having way more dimension to it when I wasn't trying to think about the direction or what I was doing, and that was my non-dominant. And
yeah, it's sometimes quite nice to go fast as well.
yeah.
Just to do that playful thing.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's
great,
fun.
Stacey. Thank you. Anybody else like to share?
So it was interesting for me in doing the non-dominant hand. Second, I had said to Sunil, I didn't even know how to hold the pencil. I realized I've so rarely, even though I practice needling with both hands, but so I'm using my right hand and kind of holding it awkwardly, trying to find what's the right way that feels comfortable. And where I got comfort was, instead of trying just with my hand and my wrist and fingers, I started to use my whole body to make.
Fantastic.
And it was like, that felt comfortable. I look at the energy on the page, and it feels so much freer than this sense of control I was trying with my left hand. And then Sunil and I got on great subject matter of just how you discover which side is dominant, and it got me into this thought pattern of ways in which I was pigeonholed, or began to think of myself because my left side was dominant, and that wasn't as acceptable, and where it was awkward in life, and how it really influenced my thinking of self. So I started thinking, I need to do more with my right hand afterwards, just to create a balance now for myself.
That's great, Doreen. I love that. It's almost like a polarity yoga exercise in drawing, isn't it? Balancing out one side to the other.
Yeah, it was fun.
Thank you, Doreen. Anybody else? Sunil?
Yeah, I was actually inspired by your story, Fiona, about when you were in the when you injured your right hand, and so I started off with my non-dominant hand, and then was doing like, okay, let me do the left hand, now the right hand, then the left hand, and then when you said use the non-dominant hand, I'm like, well, I've already done that, but rather than kind of keep bouncing back and forth, I decided to just stick with the non-dominant hand, because I was noticing, like, when I was going really slow with the non-dominant hand, it was really shaky to start. And I actually can write pretty easily with both. I'm right-handed, but like, honestly, I feel I'm probably more ambidextrous. Just society kind of forces you to go one certain direction. And so I just started to play with, like, okay, let me see if I give this more experience and more time to like understand itself, how it starts to evolve, which was kind of cool.
That's great, Sunil. It's true, you know, when after my experience, I realized I was slightly ambidextrous. And I would do these, I would draw my right hand with my left hand and my left hand with my right hand, and I do draw a certain amount of drawings a day to see how they came out. And I inevitably ended up preferring the ones I did with my non-dominant hand.
Mm.
Anybody else? No? So did you get any more self-awareness from doing this, you think? Yeah? Well, I loved being with you, really, everybody. And it has made me want to do more, like Laura was saying, the movement, actually moving in a spiral. There's a whole world of possibilities to go in with that. When I started researching this on Google, there's they talk about whether the anti-clockwise, what that means, and the clockwise, and you can believe it or not. You know, I tend to prefer what I feel in my own system, rather than saying this is what you are like this because you do this in this way. And there's definitely a lot of material. There's a lot to do with being a symbol of rebirth, because the spirals are found on many ancient tombs. And I've seen drawings of pregnant women with spirals on their stomach coming from this. There's a lot to go into. And I will be doing something in the future, I think. So I'm just going to share my last slide, just because I love the image that I found for it. And say thank you all very much for coming. And I loved being with everybody. And so now I think I'm going to, it's just a bit before the hour, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to stop the recording, and if anybody else would like to stay on and give me any comments about how it was, then I would be really happy to be here. Okay. Let me see, recording.